It's graduation day. Holy crap. So today is the day. I am gonna vlog today and it's gonna go on my main channel. If you guys want more videos like this, I do have a channel where I do this from time to time. So I'll leave the link at the end of the video for you guys to go subscribe to. But graduating college today. Are you kidding? This is so exciting to me. It shouldn't be this exciting to me, but it is very exciting. I don't know, like, who knows the story, but I dropped out 10 years ago, roughly about 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years ago this December. And it wasn't like, I'm done with school, I'm dropping out. It was quite literally just, I moved down here and the ability to get up to where my college is was just too much for me. And because it's an hour and a half and that was just a big commute and stuff like that. So the plan was originally, and if you go back to like my first video on Mission Otaku, I talk about this because it was right after I decided to take a break. I am done with college for now. I have one class left to take before I actually officially graduate from college, but I'm just taking a semester off to kind of live again. Anyway, so I will be finishing that up by the end of 2010. So, because I'll go back next fall now and just take the one class I have left to take. That'll be done. The plan was to take like a semester break, figure out what I was gonna do, because it was a little more complicated, because it was either stay in the MINSCU program or MINSCU school system, but I'd have to change majors because SCSU and then Minnesota State University Moorhead, I think, are the only two MINSCU schools that have a film studies degree. So I could have gone to Metropolitan State University, which doesn't have a film degree and is down here. So I could have done that, but that would have effectively meant that I would have had to have pretty much kind of started over because there isn't that major. And so I probably would have gone back to theater, which was my original major because I was at a different school. I went to Bemidji State University, which is also part of the MINSCU system. That wasn't what I wanted. Like, I love theater. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But it's not what I want out of my life. And so film just makes better sense. There's a school down here that does have a film degree, and that's Augsburg, but that's a private college, which would have meant a lot more money in loans. Plus, it's not part of the MINSCU system. So, hey guys, editing Brit popping in here. Yes, I edit my pajamas. Anyway, I talk a lot about the MINSCU system, and I don't think I ever have explained what the MINSCU system is. So MINSCU stands for Minnesota State Colleges and Universities. It's just a system of colleges and universities. The University of Minnesota is not part of it. That's its own thing, and it's got its own system and a bunch of other universities, and I think there are even some colleges involved. And yes, there is a difference between college and university, but essentially, if like St. Cloud State University, Bemidji State University, if you hear the name of a town and then State University at the end, it's part of the MINSCU program or MINSCU system. And then same thing with Minnesota State University and then name of city, same thing. So University of Minnesota Mankato, University of Minnesota Moorhead, that kind of thing. So, and if you belong to one school, you belong to all of them. So even things I took in Bemidji where they said it will not transfer to another school, still transferred to St. Cloud because it's part of the same system. But yeah, so I talk a lot about MINSCU, thought I would just pop that in there. The general education wouldn't have carried over as well as it does when you stay in the MINSCU system, which is why I also went to Normandale Community College to finish up my education, because that's a MINSCU community college right here in town. So at the end of the day, no matter what I would have chosen at the time, if commuting didn't make sense to me, I would have had to have basically started over in one way, shape, or form. Either I would have had to have started over in my major, or I would have had to have started over in my general education. Neither one of those options sounded good to me because I was so close to graduating before I had to leave St. Cloud. And I had to leave St. Cloud because Cosmo outgrew the apartment that we were staying in, and it was the only place that was affordable that allowed dogs of his size. So, but the weight limit there was 50 pounds, and he should be 95. He's a little heavier than that right now, but he should be about 95 because he's a big golden retriever. Like, I don't think it carries over on video
or in pictures just how big he is, but he's a massive golden retriever. I don't know, like it just, none of those made sense to me. So finally I decided to figure out how I could make it work. And so I went to Normandale to figure that out. I was talking with my college, with my academic advisor, my old academic advisor, my current academic advisor, how we could make this work. And he actually found a couple of classes in St. Cloud that would work for the one class I needed for my major up in St. Cloud. And because I never really got too specific on what I was doing to finish because of privacy purposes, I didn't want to say exactly what I was doing, which is why I'm sharing this now with kind of an accent and mukbang. So he told me that there were 2 classes at Normandale that I could take. Well, unfortunately, so I finished up my general education last semester, which actually ended up working out, the weighting ended up working out, because back when I was in school the first time, I had to take a math class. Now you can take, at least with MinSkew, you can take a logic class, which is math, but it's with words instead of with numbers. And it makes much better sense to my brain instead of a math class. You couldn't do that back then. And so I took that at Normandale. I took Minnesota history at Normandale. What was the 9th credit? Oh, the online health class, because that was another thing. So when I dropped out, I had digital filmmaking that I still had to take. I had a math class I still had to take. And I had my health class. Though I did take a health class in St. Cloud, the professor ended up losing my final, assignment, and somehow that made my grade go to an F. I don't understand how that worked. And so I emailed him like, this is not right. Like, I did all the work. I got decent grades on the tests because I have test anxiety. So whenever we had a test, I did decently. And I did everything that I needed to do. I shouldn't have an F. And so he finally found the work he missed, and he was like, oh, here it is. I found it. There was something screwy with the online, because we turned everything in online, and this was like at the beginning of online anything. He was like, oh, I found it. Here should be your grade. And then he never changed it. And so I continued to email him being like, hey, you need to change my grade. 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 And eventually I stopped hearing from him completely. And I really just should have gone to the dean and been like, here is a list of emails that I have saying that he should be changing my grade and he's not. Can you please change my grade? But I was 21. I didn't know what I was doing. And I just kind of gave up. And I think that was also around the time I had decided that I was going to take some time off. Because that was another thing I just needed to figure out. So I needed to figure out the math thing, I needed to figure out the health thing, I needed to figure out what school I was going to end up graduating from, all this stuff. Those were the 3 general education classes that I needed to finish graduating. And then the plan was to graduate from Normandale with an AA degree and then graduate from St. Cloud this summer, actually, from St. Cloud with my bachelor's degree. Because I thought I needed the associate's degree from Normandale to make things easier for me to graduate with my bachelor's degree. And so then when I found out that they weren't, so I got all the credits I needed to graduate. So I needed 20 credits specifically from Normandale to graduate from Normandale. So I signed up for classes this semester, and I had a whole slew of classes that I was going to take on campus this semester, and then of course the one I was going to take up in St. Cloud, which we're getting to. And then Normandale was like, we're not paying for any of those classes because they don't go towards any kind of major. Here's a moment where I should be explaining a little bit more, because obviously this sounds really weird because of course you can take elective classes. However, I have too many credits to be at a community college. So I had to sign this waiver, I guess, that explained my plan and why I was at Normandale instead of at a 4-year university. So I was approved to get my associate's degree. However, it had to go towards a major. And so because I only had the just basic AA degree as my major, things just got a little bit more complicated than they should have. So I thought that would be better for me to explain that a little bit better. And I was like, what are you talking about? In order for me to graduate, I need 20 credits from your school. And this satisfies those 20 credits. She says, yeah, but it doesn't fit any actual major. So you need to declare a major other than just your basic associate's degree and then take those classes. And I was like, that doesn't work for me. So I figured out that I could do that and still graduate this semester from Normandale. So I declared a history major at Normandale, and then I was going to take the history classes. But then I found out that I didn't need to graduate from Normandale at all, because everything with Minsky should transfer just fine. And I clarified that with St. Cloud. Everything was good. But everybody at the beginning of this said, yes, it's probably best for you to graduate with an AA degree from Normandale and then graduate in summer with your bachelor's. Everybody was basically telling me this. So I was like, all right. So that's what I planned on doing. That's what I thought I was supposed to do. But it ended up not actually needing to happen, which is why I'm graduating today from St. Cloud State with my bachelor's degree. But yeah, so it ended up being just this messed up situation. And there was a lot more, because I have never had a normal semester at St. Cloud State University. When I was at Bemidji, both semesters went off pretty much without a hitch. The first one was basically just user error, because it was the first time I had ever dealt with financial aid. So there was one issue first semester at Bemidji, but that was completely and utterly my fault. The second semester went off without a hitch. My first semester at Normandale went off without a hitch. St. Cloud State University, I have never had a normal semester with St. Cloud State University and their financial aid. I don't know why, but every single semester I had some kind of issue with my financial aid. And so when the whole they're not going to pay for my classes, I was thinking, okay, maybe this is my one like mess up. And then it turned out to not be. There was other things that ended up happening throughout the semester, but everything's good now. Everything's paid for. Everything's fine. I am a lot more in debt than I was at the beginning of all of this, but okay, I'm gonna be okay. But yeah, so anyway, so my academic advisor had found 2 classes that worked at Normandale. I had to take both of them just because I had to satisfy the number of credits as well as the actual content of the class. And only one of them was being offered this semester. I was like, I'm not going another semester. I'm not gonna just take blow-off classes so that I can have financial aid. So this semester I ended up taking an online history course at Normandale, and then I took digital filmmaking up in St. Cloud. So I've been going up to St. Cloud every single Monday for class. And I'm so glad it's over. It's so awful. I hate it so much. I hate that commute so much. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish my breakfast, and then this has already been 10 minutes. I'm gonna cut it down though. I'm gonna finish my breakfast and then get ready to leave for St. Cloud. I have to be in St. Cloud, so I have to check in around 1:30 because my graduation's at 3. Because there's 2 commencements at St. Cloud, and my commencement's at 3. So I have to go get to St. Cloud by 1:30. So I want to get there a little bit early because I still have to go get my cap and gown and all that stuff. And so yeah, so you guys are gonna come on that journey with me today, and I'm excited, and I'm gonna finish my breakfast because it looks good, and yeah, I'm gonna go, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. And of course, just as I start this clip, Corvette moves. So I'm done eating, which means Cosmo gets to eat, and then Corvette gets to eat. It's a way to establish hierarchy when you have a dog, and it's just something that we've always done. I know, you want something. But so I've been trying to get him to touch his wobbler. So I feed him out of his wobbler because it forces him to eat slower. It's also a puzzle toy. So because he's a little bit older, it keeps his brain active. So it'll help him stay alert longer in his life. So I feed him out of his wobbler, and then both of his dishes just have water in them. And now Corvette has claimed one since she's moved back down here. But Cosmo is terrified of my cat. So she was sitting right here on the couch on the very edge, and his wobbler is right there. You can see his wobbler right there. And so I was telling him to touch the wobbler. He was touching all of his toys aside from his wobbler. So Cosmo, where's your wobbler? Can you find it? Look. Come on, go touch. No, that is not your wobbler. See, he's still not doing it. Come on, Cosmo, go touch your wobbler. Come on, go touch. Cosmo, come on. Go touch your wobbler. Thank you. That is all I want out of you right now. So yeah, I try to get him to also touch his wobbler, find his wobbler, touch it, because again, it keeps his brain active, which is great. I'm down to the last can of cat food for my cat. She can only eat, well, I'm going to regret it, But I'm going to try. I'm going to get her hard food, and then I'm going to soften it. Because there was one time where I ran out of food for her, and PetSmart was already closed. And Petco doesn't carry prescription food because they don't have a vet actually inside of the store. So, and that would have been closed too. What am I talking about? They closed at the same time. Actually, it might have been a Sunday. So no, if it was a Sunday, then no, Petco is open for an hour later than PetSmart. But so I ended up just getting some of the food upstairs from my parents' cat and gave that to her. And then I went and got food the next day. But I softened it because she has trouble digesting hard food. So I softened it and she didn't throw up. And it's going to be a lot cheaper and a lot easier to feed her hard food than it is to feed her canned food. So I'm going to try that and try softening it and see if that works. I'm still going to get canned food, I think. No, maybe I'll try the bag, and if it doesn't work, if she starts throwing up, then I'll return the bag and then get canned food. I know PetSmart's return policy. I used to work for PetSmart. Anyway, I'm gonna feed my dog now. But the reason it's important for him to start eating slower is as golden retrievers, as retrievers in general get older. I mean, a lot of dogs, but retrievers are prone to what's called bloat, which is basically the stomach flips, and it's very, very deadly. In a lot of situations, it is only fixable through surgery. And so the best way to stop bloat from happening is to have them eat slower. And there are bowls you can get that will force a dog to eat slower. But because I also want to keep his brain active, that's why I've actually just chosen to do this. The wobbler situation. I am currently soaking Corvette's dish because her dish was just absolutely gross. So I'll show you guys how I feed her too, because she's kind of finicky. She doesn't like any food that isn't Purina, and unfortunately, and I hate Purina, I really do, but sorry to Purina if you're watching this video. I don't enjoy Purina. I think that the ingredients of Purina are really, really crappy. Any of those like big brands, Hills is another one that I don't like, and that's what I'm feeding her right now because that's just the easiest prescription food to get. There is a Purina prescription food for kidneys, but I just can never find it, and so we asked the vet to switch it to Hills. But she can get really finicky about her food, and she eventually will get hungry enough that she will in fact eat Hills. She would rather eat than die, so she will eventually eat. But to entice her to eat, I actually put like dried catnip on top, so that she can eat that. And then that will in turn then have her eat the canned food. But yeah, so we'll see what happens about 20 minutes when I can finally just clean off her bowl, because her bowl is just disgusting. And that's part of the reason why I want to switch back to dry food too, because if I can, you know, effectively for her, switch back to dry food, because anyway, all right, I am going to stop talking for now. And I am all dressed and ready to head out. I have to actually head to my mom's office first because she left her phone at home. Plus, I'm going to leave my keys with them because there really isn't a great place to store stuff while I'm there. So I'm going to lock all my stuff in the car, inside of my car, and then we'll just get it when we leave. And I'm very excited to get going to St. Cloud for the last time, essentially. I mean, I'm sure I'll drive through St. Cloud. I'm sure I'll go to St. Cloud. I've got a friend whose boyfriend actually just opened up a brewery, so obviously I'm going to be going back to St. Cloud. This is kind of my last, like, time going to St. Cloud. You know, this just feels so weird. Kind of like when I left after my last class on Monday. I was walking out of the building and just going, oh, this is my last time here. But yeah, I kind of just walked around for a little bit. I filmed the inside of the classroom that I was in, and I walked up to the other classroom because there's two classrooms that film students are in, and there's one downstairs, there's one upstairs. And I spent most of my time upstairs, but I wasn't sure if the door was locked. I didn't know if there was a class going on in there at the moment, so I just took video from outside and just kind of up and down the hallways and things like that. It's just, oh my gosh, it just felt really weird. It just felt really, really weird. But yeah, so I am ready to head to St. Cloud. It's 10 o'clock right now. I want to be in St. Cloud about noon. So if I have to go to Burnsville, I should probably be heading out soon. Anyway, I'm gonna head on out, and my gosh, I'm gonna graduate college today. So I always default to wearing a sweatshirt when it's springtime in Minnesota, because spring in Minnesota is probably the most unpredictable time period in Minnesota. You'd think that'd be winter because we get so many snowstorms and so many different kinds of precipitation and blah, but it really isn't. It's either cold or it's snowy. And I know people in warmer climates are like, what? Isn't it cold and snowy? No, because it gets too cold to snow here sometimes. So it's either really, really cold, which we know it won't really snow, or it's warmer, and so we're pretty much assuming it's gonna snow. So I mean, it's still somewhat unpredictable, but like the temperature is right now 59 degrees, so I probably don't need a sweatshirt. But at any point it could drop to like 30 degrees and start blizzarding. So it could happen. Anyway, I am headed to Burnsville first, like I said, and then I'm going to head out to St. Cloud. So I just dropped my mom's phone off and the extra key to my car. Now I'm gonna head off to St. Cloud. Holy crap, this is just, I am having like little tiny panic attacks, so let's go. So since I'm taking it, I thought it would be good for me to actually kind of explain how the Twin Cities works. So I live in what's called the Twin Cities, and it's called the Twin Cities because Minneapolis and St. Paul are twin cities, which means they're right next to each other. Only the river separates them, and by the river I mean the Mississippi River. So there is 35, Interstate 35 that runs north and south through the state, and it takes you to Iowa if you want to go to Iowa. That's how you do it in Minnesota. There are other ways too, but 35 is the easiest way to do it. Anyway, so once it hits the Twin Cities, it starts like up in Anoka, Coon Rapids, which is where I was born, and then they come back together in Burnsville, which is just south of, well, is like a really southern part of the Twin Cities. Anyway, so then it splits off into two roads, 35W and 35E. 35W goes through Minneapolis and 35E goes through St. Paul. So I thought it would be interesting because it's not super normal. But 35 splits into two separate roads, 35E, 35W. It's weird because it's 35 west going north and 35 east going north. So it's a little weird because it still runs north and south. It just tells you basically which part of the Twin Cities you're in. So because we're on 35W, we're in the Minneapolis part of the Twin Cities, which is where I live, which is where Burnsville is, even though Burnsville has both because it's where it combines again. Anyway, I'm gonna pay attention to the road. I have made it to campus. It's so nice because this parking ramp is free today, which is great. That's one thing that has always driven me crazy. So when they built this parking ramp, I was here when they built it 10 years ago, and it was here my last year at St. Cloud, that or I was commuting. I can't remember, but I would park in this ramp. And it must have been when I was commuting because I still drove in my second apartment, but I parked slightly off of campus on like 2 hour or 3 hour or 4 hour parking, however long it was going to take me to be in class. But so I don't really remember when I started parking in this ramp. But I started parking in this ramp when it was first built. I just don't remember which year it was. But anyway, and it's always cost money. And there's Normandale, which is in Bloomington. Mind you, Bloomington is the 4th or the 5th largest city in the state. I can't remember. It's Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester, then I think it's Duluth, and then I think it's Bloomington. And Normandale's ramp and all of their parking, free. St. Cloud State, St. Cloud, Minnesota, much smaller city. And their ramp and all their parking costs money. Their ramp is the cheapest place to park on campus. And that's why I never parked on campus when they didn't have this ramp, because it was a ridiculous amount of money to park on campus. Like it was like $200 a semester or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure they've changed it by now since this has been here and this is so much less expensive. Anyway, it's so dumb. I've never understood St. Cloud State University. Never once. All right, let's go graduate from it now. So the place that I normally go and get my herbal tea before I'd go to class, it's closed. So now I gotta figure out where I'm gonna have some lunch. All right. I have my camping gown and tassel. Feels so weird. God, I'm gonna cry. That's the building I practically lived in, because, you know, film studies. Right now I'm heading back to my car to put my stuff in it. I'm hopefully gonna figure out food or starve, one of the two. Okay, so I locked everything in my car, made sure my parents had my key and my extra key as well, but I forgot to put my sweatshirt in the car. I mean, it's warm enough for me definitely without it, but like I have it just to be safe. I'm not gonna wear it underneath my cap and gown, so we're gonna have to figure out where I can put it. I'm halfway tempted to go see if Chris is in his office and see if I can just put it in there. Whatever, fine. It's fine. It's fine. This is the road I would take onto campus when I lived here. That's where I came from. There's Hollenbeck, and right down here is where it's gonna be. Graduation. Alright guys, let's go graduate. I am here an hour early. Supposed to be here around 1:30. It is currently 12:30. So I thought I was gonna eat. But no. So I'm just sitting here waiting. I put my hat on. My cap. It's not a hat. It's a cap. I put it on. I got my robe, a gown, whatever they're called, sitting right there. I'm just gonna sit here with something on to make people understand that I'm supposed to be here, that I'm not being weird. So. Okay, we're good. Okay, so I got checked in. I am now dressed and waiting. There's still 2 hours before my graduation even starts, so this is gonna be a long wait. And I'm hungry. I don't have any cash with me, I'd rather go to that vending machine and just get something food. Why couldn't I just have my purse with me? I could have, but there's just no safe place to put it, so I wasn't gonna chance it. That's Chris. I should go say hi to him, but he's all lined up with the other professors. So, I guess I won't. This place is a lot fuller than last time I had checked in with you guys. Got to go out there. I'm very excited.
Whether it took you 2 years, 7, or 30 for all my adult learners out there, you did this. And finally, in the words of Reese Witherspoon as Elle Woods in the iconic movie Legally Blonde, Mom, this one's for you. Congratulations, class of 2019. We did it!
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Minnesota State, and upon the recommendation of the faculty of St. Cloud State University, I hereby confer upon each of you the baccalaureate and associate's degree for which you are recommended. Okay, graduates, you may now move your tassels to the other side of your board.
Brittany Hollis.
Hi, Brittany.
Cheyenne.
Did it. Graduation's over. My parents got me a little bear. And I got to see Chris one last time. I'll insert that picture right here. Anyway, heading back to the car. Whew. Then food, finally. A home away from home. When I was here before, I was friends with a bunch of theater students, and we'd hang out down there while they smoked. This is it, man. It just feels really weird. I'm pretty sure I beat my parents back here. I think they took the shuttle back. But me, I walked. Sort of regretted it a little bit because I was so hungry. I'm trying negative calories right now, and I have hypoglycemia, so you know, I'm sure my blood sugar is pretty low right now. I'm back in my car. I'm so hungry, and I'm so tired. Oh man, my eye makeup is interesting. But I'm so tired and I'm out of breath, but I think mostly because I'm running low on the blood sugar, man. I need food. So we're gonna go get some food in St. Michael, not St. Cloud. So we're done with dinner and now we're headed home, and I think we're gonna take a different way home because it's not a great weekend. It's opening of fishing, which is a big deal. I mean, it's like a freaking holiday here in Minnesota because we have the land of 10,000 lakes. But it's also Mother's Day weekend, so we're gonna see what's gonna happen now. So I'm just following my dad. I'm now at Culver's to pick up some dessert for the family. I'm gonna go through the drive-thru, which usually takes forever. But that's okay, because I had to go pick up my mom's car at my dad's work, so it should even out pretty decently. Hopefully they'll actually beat me home, so it'll be a little bit easier. But anyway, Culver's. If you guys haven't had Culver's, oh my god, it's so good. It's a Wisconsin company, so I'll have to forgive it for that. Sorry to anybody who lives in Wisconsin. I just really hate the Packers. But no, Culver's is frozen custard. So it's a little bit sweeter than ice cream. It's delicious and I love it. It's terrible for you and I'm okay with it.
Alright, how can I help you today?
I'm gonna get 3 regular concrete mixers, all with vanilla.
And then in one, can I get Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and Oreo?
Okay.
And then another one Heath Bar. And another one just caramel.
Okay.
And that's it.
Alright, so that should be 1513. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
My pleasure.
I don't usually have to wait, but I have to wait. It's just 3 concrete mixers. I don't know why I have to wait. They usually don't make me wait for 3 concrete mixers. My graduation present to myself came. My new case for my new phone came today. It says Hakuna Matata, and it's got Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba on it. Stay away from my ice cream! Stay away from my ice cream! My frozen custard! Stay away from it! I don't want you to eat it! So, I have my frozen custard. I have another vodka drink. I had 2 with dinner. I have this one. That's a screwdriver. If you're curious. The 2 I had at dinner were a Polish vodka or a Polish martini. Now I'm just gonna watch myself some SPD. A couple episodes of that while I eat this and drink my screwdriver. And then I'm gonna go to bed. I am so exhausted. Today has been an amazing day, but also a very exhausting day. And I'm ready to just sleep it off. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said at the beginning, if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should, because I normally talk about geeky things, but sometimes I take you guys on crazy adventures. But if you want more videos like this, go to my vlog channel and subscribe to that, because that's what this is more than. Corvette, what is your problem? Anyway, I'm out of here. You do realize you're going to throw up. And I'm not going to be happy to clean that up. You got problems, cat.